now for the conclusion of this special two-part discussion of Halloween Ends.
We cut to the doctor's house where he's unsurprisingly there with the nurse. This doctor is not a silver fox. He's more like a hairy gorilla. And the woman is attractive. Like, she's definitely very attractive. Gold digger. She's wanting that raise and that D and everything that comes along with it. And the dude has a pretty dope house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, his house, it's very like 70s. It's like there's like wood paneling and shag carpet and like recessed seating, but it's a cool house. That pool and like the courtyard there, awesome.
Yep. And he uncorks a wine bottle, and you know someone's gonna get stabbed with that, wine cork thingy. That, what do you call it? Decorker. Corkscrew. Oh my god.
The decorker.
It does decork.
Hey, Dad, where's the corkscrew?
Where's the decorker?
Where's the decorker?
I think we had differing opinions on the present. She's given like some robe. It is fucking hideous. It looks like someone wiped their ass with it.
It's like this disgusting flower print. It looks like, I thought it was like a pair of scrubs, like floral print scrubs.
You're like, it's floral print scrubs. I was like, whatever it is, it looks like shit.
It looks like shit. I mean, she's like doing a great job pretending to be excited about this shitty gift.
I know. She's like, oh man, I gotta fuck this guy and I got a crappy gift.
Thanks.
She's kind of doing like a
robe or something.
She's doing like a seductive walk back. She hears creepiness, and she looks out to the pool area, and Corey's there stabbing the doctor with the corkscrew. Bag over his head, not Corey's head, over the doctor's head, probably to muffle the screams.
He's got some autoerotic asphyxiation thing going on.
Like
strangling himself.
He's like, this is so hot.
Show me, Michael. Show me how you do it.
Corey can't get to the nurse, and his anger is definitely getting like the best of him. He's making mistakes. He's fucking up. But there's a moment where Corey just stops and he's watching her, and you're like, oh shit, it's about to happen. And fucking Michael Myers comes out and kills the nurse. And he does like the classic, he stabs her so hard, she gets stuck on the wall, like from the original Halloween.
Right. Gets like pinned up against the wall, kind of like suspended there. That was a cool kill. Yeah.
Very neat. Yeah, tag team action, right? Which I thought was like it was so good. Yeah, I like that.
It's a perfect. I mean, we made that joke before about how like Michael Myers is kind of like turned into like the slasher Yoda.
Yeah,
he's like teaching him how to do the Michael thing, and it's almost also like a predator, like a lion teaching its cubs at a hunt, where it's like the cubs keeps fucking up. It doesn't like know what to do, but like the mother lion is always there to sort of like finish the job.
Exactly.
It's a really cool dynamic.
There's also a weird moment during all of this before the kill. Corey takes off the bandage on his wounded hand, and he like twiddles his fingers around, and Michael does like a side stare at him. And I'm like, is there some kind of psychic connection between these two? And then Michael kills the nurse.
And I missed the bandage part.
Yeah, what's also really concerning is how horrible Corey is at understanding, blood and fingerprints, because he's putting his fucking hands on glass. They're not going to wipe this shit down. They're going to know it's Corey because his fingerprints are going to be on record. And his fucking DNA is all over that bitch.
That's one of those like slasher movie hand waves where it's just like, you don't like, most of these movies do a good job of like getting you to not really think about forensics too much, but I don't know, there's something about that. Yeah, like you can't help but think about like, oh my gosh, you're leaving evidence everywhere.
Yeah, super weird. We cut to Corey on a motorcycle, but Michael Myers isn't on the back, which is what everyone in the fucking internet wanted.
Yes, just like Yoda, right in the
exactly.
backpack.
But it's Allison. They're having fun. They're bonding, right? Nothing like post murder Sex.
I'm imagining like a romantic comedy montage where they're going to like there's like a happy-go-lucky song playing. They're going playing mini golf and getting cotton candy and balloons and ice cream.
It's
Man, that would have been great.
That would have been great because it kind of again, we're watching a Halloween movie, but it turns into a movie moment right here where they're on top of the radio station and they point at the radio tower and they're like, we're going to burn this fucking place down, me and you. And, you know, this is the place that we're going to light the match at because they hate the radio station DJ guy, right? It's just, it's too movie right here because aren't those like radio towers like ultra high frequency? Couldn't they be getting like fucking melted right now?
I don't think so, but I don't know enough about high wattage radio stations to dispute it. So I choose to believe that yes, they're actually getting. That's why they go crazy. That's why he starts killing. He's got the FM radiation.
So I will say this: I have seen YouTube videos of like AM radio towers, right? Where they're like, let me put this piece of metal on there. And you can fucking hear the radio when they do that, right? Like, the frequency's so high that touching it, first off, don't touch it. You will fucking die. Like putting a piece of metal on there, you can hear it. And the guy's like, yeah, the frequency and the electricity running through this thing, you will die. You will die if you touch this thing.
Yeah, maybe that's like an AM versus FM radio thing.
Hey, FM's more secure.
FM's more secure. Yeah, because you're right. Like when they're up on the roof of the radio station, I think they're like leaning against it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or no, they're leaning. I think they're leaning against the facade, looking at the tower.
There's no fucking way I would even get that close. You know those like green boxes that they have like in lawns where it's all like the cable shit and electricity running through it?
You hear the buzzing.
Yeah, all I know is my mom, and it's probably an old wives' tale, but when we were kids and we would sit on them, she would like, get off of there. Like those things, and I have never heard of them exploding, but she's like, those things could explode. It's full of electricity.
Don't sit on those things. You'll go sterile.
Exactly. I don't know.
Interesting.
But anyways, so Corey and Allison, they jump off the roof. Very interesting to know that Allison is dressed up as Laurie from the first movie. She's wearing like the denim jumpsuit, like the denim on denim right here. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice the shirt was that kind of like, you know, like the denim button down that she had in 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're introduced to, and we've heard him throughout the entire film, but we're introduced to the disc jockey, and he's a dick apparently. And he's like, yeah, I'll get inside your head. I'm like that bad
song that's stuck in your head.
I'm an earworm. And then he gives Corey shit. He's like, oh yeah, you killed that kid. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. And then we...
Fuck you, get off my property.
Exactly. It's so weird. Again, movie moment. Like, this is the movie moment.
Yeah. Wink, wink. That guy's gonna die.
Exactly. And it's amazing. But this spurs Allison to be like, fuck Haddonfield. Let's burn this bitch down.
Finally. They want to get out.
Yes. An hour and 10 minutes into the movie, we get both of our main characters, to realize that they need to leave.
Yeah. And
for some reason, Laurie is in her car watching all of this happen. Really weird.
She's, she spent so long as that prepper grandma that she just can't. The old habits die hard. She's trailing people in the cars. That's nothing for this Laurie.
That's the sequel. Halloween, Old Habits Die Hard.
Old Habits Die Hard.
I would say that it would star John McClane, but unfortunately Bruce Willis,
Yeah, it's Jamie Lee Curtis and the hologram of Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis's hologram. Oh, horrible. I'd watch it. We cut to Corey's house where he's getting berated by his mom for going out with Allison, and she's like, I can smell her on you. I can smell her on you, and you're like pouring around. She smacks him. She's like, oh no. They not they. She fucking kisses Corey on
Square in
the
the
lips.
Yep. That's what makes me think like that it was an intentional like there's like so many little vignettes in this movie about all these like damaged people and their abusive like relationships with like parents or significant others or something. Like they've all got like trauma at home and abuse at home. That's what this kid had. Like the mom, here's my headcanon. The father left the mom all alone, and she's got this weird like protective thing that like she's projecting on the kid, where it's like this weird like you're my baby, but I'm also like projecting my husband. Like I see my husband on you, and like I wish my husband never left. Something like weird like that's going on, where there's like mixed emotions in this lady's head, and I think that's where the kiss came from, and contributes to Corey's general fucked upness.
It's and the stepdad only has he only has I hope you find love to say in return. I agree with your headcanon that this is his trauma, right?
Yeah.
This is why he's fucked up.
Poor stepdad.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, get out, dude. I get it. Get out. I hope you find something.
It is definitely a lot to take in, and I think it's one of those. It's certainly one of those moments or things where they're saying less in the hopes that there's more to it, where I think they needed to say a little bit more in order to get there, right?
Yeah, a little too much is maybe left kind of like subtext or kind of. I mean, I think the kiss, that weird, awkward kiss on the lips, was probably enough for a lot of audiences, but it's definitely either we're wrong or it's going to go over people's heads.
Exactly. Or there's just people like me who are just sometimes I just want to see a little bit more, and I don't know why. But interesting
more,
to note. I don't need to see them kissing.
Mom takes her nightgown off.
I'm sorry.
Tonight.
Am I on Pornhub right now? We are at the 1 hour, 10 minute, 12-second moment mark of this movie. The dad says, I hope you find love. I am probably thinking more into this than there probably is, Greg. And I'm sorry if I am. But to note, by the fireplace, there is a small miniature porcelain clown that has a blue top hat, red hair, and the smile, just like our boy,
Michael Myers for the very beginning. Oh my gosh. Good spot, dude.
Again, I don't know if I'm like thinking too much into this, and I don't think I can take screenshots of.
It'll probably block it, yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be like all grayed out. But 1 hour, 10 minutes, 12 seconds.
Oh my gosh! Take a picture with your cell phone. I want to see, because like that's. I think it's probably not anything like intentional, other than just kind of like an Easter egg, because they throw a lot of interesting little background Easter eggs in this. I wouldn't put it past these filmmakers for doing something like that. Little nods. I mean, we got those nods from Halloween 3 in a couple movies where like you see the skull and the witch and the pumpkin mask. That's definitely intentional.
When you said take a picture with your cell phone, I'm fucking such a smooth brain. I'm like, it's gonna block it out. No, it won't.
Mr. NBC not gonna like that.
Yeah. Did you I sent it to you.
Oh my gosh, that is creepy. I don't know if that's the same clown as the costume, but it looks similar enough. Like someone dressed that set intentionally.
Exactly.
Good spot.
Also, if you look next to the dad, I'm going to send you another one. There's this really weird, fucked up rabbit thing next to him. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this would probably lead me to murder too if I had to look at it every fucking day.
These are all just like weird tchotchkes that a lady like this would absolutely have in her house.
Exactly.
Oh my God, what the hell is that?
She's like, I like kissing my son and having animals wear like doily hats and shit.
Okay, what is that picture next to the rabbit? That looks like some kind of weird conehead creature.
I don't know. It's this whole there. What do they say? Every scene has 1,000 words to it. This has 1,000,000. This has 1,000,000.
And they're all what the fuck.
Hour and 10 minute mark, October 31st. This is an hour and 50 minute movie, so it took us a long time to actually get to Halloween. But I think we really hate saying this. I truly hate saying this, but I think the movie really earns it. Like, we have come so far with the Corey character, and we built him up, right?
Yeah,
and
it was it was necessary to get to this point.
Yeah. And to note, when he wakes up on Halloween Day, he is laying on the blood stain of the kid that he accidentally killed.
I noticed that on my second viewing, because the mom basically kicks him out, so he's got nowhere to go. So he goes to sleep at that abandoned house, and he's like camping out on what looks like, I don't know if it's like the blood puddle, but like the wood is stained from the blood.
Yeah,
and he's just like rolling around in it like a dog.
Very evoking the Michael Myers thing of Halloween Kills, where he goes back to the place where he murdered his sister, right?
Yep. Yeah, kind of going back to the scene of the crime.
Laurie is there and gives Corey a description of two types of evil. One where they understand that they're evil, and one where they're not aware that they're evil, but the things that they do are, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, like, yeah, you're either like Jeffrey Dahmer, who knows what he's doing, or you're just happenstance what you're living your life, but through no action of your own. Everything you do is like wrong and it's coming out evil, right?
Yeah, it's like the external versus internal. Like there's the outward evil that like the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, like they're outwardly evil, but like there's also that internal evil that's kind of in everyone to some degree, and it just takes the right set of circumstances to sort of, kindle it basically, and that's kind of where this kid is.
Exactly. Laurie is like, I want to help you. I want to make sure that you don't turn evil. And today is a very turning point day in your life. And if we work together, we can get over this. And Corey kind of retorts back like, hey, you let me into your life. You're the one to blame. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for you. Right.
Well, yeah, because like Laurie basically says let me help you, but you can't see Allison anymore. Mm-hmm. I think she's not as equipped for this relationship, I think she says. So I think that's the part like he can't accept.
Exactly.
Like, he does not want to let go of that.
And then, there's a little more talking, and then Laurie kind of disappears. And I don't know if you, the audience, are supposed to be left going, was this all in his imagination? Was this was he talking to himself essentially in this moment? Because Laurie doesn't really do the whole boogeyman type disappearing Batman shit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone in this town is capable of this because, we got that sneak up with Corey coming up behind Laurie earlier.
Apparently he's slithering on the ground.
He's doing the army. So that we need another one here where Laurie was like, she likes tiptoeing, like avoiding the creaky boards and like, army shimmering, shimmying down the hallway.
Corey is calling Allison. He's like, hey, your grandma wants to kill me. Let's get the fuck out of Haddonfield. Meet me at this place tonight. It's time to say goodbye to Haddonfield. And Corey busts into Michael Myers' murder hole. And it's a very cool shot because it's almost vignetted. We're seeing this scene through the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
So, right?
The tube, yeah. It's kind of framing things.
And we see Michael Myers and Corey Cunningham Greco-Roman wrestling, for lack of a better term, for the mask. Now, Michael Myers is kind of powered up. He's able to take on Corey, but Corey is a more youthful man, and he beats Michael Myers at his own game. And I got to tell you, when he ripped the mask off of Michael Myers, I thought he was going to talk. I honestly thought he was going to talk. And I think I even said this, I said this to you, or maybe it was something I spoke to Jackie about. I thought it'd been really compelling if he died at that moment too. Like if Corey actually killed him.
Yeah, because at the end of Halloween Kills, like that movie spent a lot of time, like, or at least towards the end, kind of like the power of the mask.
Yeah,
that had like the symbolic power that it has for Michael. So that, I think, I'm with you on that. That would have been an interesting moment to like he's got his mask. Like that's all he had left, like his last bit of power, and that's the point where you could get killed.
It zooms in on Michael Myers' face. He's like, no hope, and then he just dies.
Oh shucks.
We cut to a gas station, and the Riverdale gang find the car. Says Psycho on it, and Corey's there. He's just there looking. He's like, hey, yeah, fuck you guys. And he rides away on his motorcycle, egging them on to their doom. Lori confronts Allison, and she's like, you can't bang Corey no more. This upsets Allison because, banging
He's got
Corey's
a motorcycle.
probably... Yeah, he's got a motorcycle.
Have you seen how cool he is? He's got a leather jacket.
We sat next to an FM radio and we didn't die. But
Her back
Lori's
is all burnt up.
Exactly. She's like fucking smooth brained. Lori's like, he's evil. I see it. I've seen it before. In Michael. Allison is kind of going like, hey, we need to get over it. We haven't seen Michael Myers in 5 years. Who fucking cares? Just let me get out of here. And strife. Right?
Right.
We get back to the junkyard.
Yeah, Corey, he kind of lures those douchey Riverdale kids in their LeBaron down to the junkyard where he's got something in store for them.
They really do look like the garbage pail version of the Riverdale gang.
Isn't Mullet Kid wearing a hat, like a Jughead hat?
Something like that. Why is the mullet coming back?
I don't know. Gen Z, come on, man.
Get the fuck over. The mullet sucked in the 80s. It still sucks now. The Riverdale gang, they're going to fuck up his motorcycle. They're going to fuck up Corey's motorcycle. So they put like a chain on it, and Archie goes to check on Jughead, and Jughead has a fucking like tire iron through his eye.
I thought it was like a tire iron the first time we watched it, but in this one, it's actually the drumstick that he's been like fiddling with through the whole movie.
Oh, nice.
I was like, oh, damn, stupid marching band kids, take that.
The fucking Jughead's like, or Archie's like, he's dead. Oh no,
he's dead. Is it just me, or did it look like Archie Kid was like laughing when he delivered that line? He was a little smiley. It was one of those like scared grimaces that looks kind of like a laugh. I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't understand complex emotion. Unfortunately, Barb and the other girl, they run towards a chain link fence. Barb, she's not fat, but she's got a little weight to her. She doesn't quite make it over the fence in time, and she gets pinned underneath a chain link fence as Corey drives a truck over her. She's still alive.
She sees everything, basically forced to watch from underneath the car.
And the dad, knowing he doesn't want to go back to incest mom, he's watching a Jean-Claude Van Damme film in his office. I mean, this dude is living the sweet life. He's got like a little aquarium. I think maybe like turtles. He's got some 90s pinup poster of some woman in a star-spangled bikini. This is where this guy wants to live.
I would say this is his escape. This is his like man cave. Oh, honey, I'm working late tonight, and he's just here watching Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Archie's like, "Oh, help us! He's killing us. He's killing us!" And we finally see Corey come out, and he has the entire ensemble on. He's got the jumpsuit, he's got the Myers mask, and he kills the other girl with a giant crescent wrench.
Oh yeah, this is a huge wrench like the size of his arm, really weighty, pretty brutal.
The dad unfortunately gives Archie a rifle, and as soon as you give a dumb character a weapon, you know exactly what's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, and like, it just wow. Like Phil, you're a business owner. You're working late one night. Some kid comes up and says he's getting, and you don't know him. He's this hysterical teenager. Do you give him a gun?
I immediately shoot myself in the head.
Let's cut out the middleman, kid. Bam.
There's like a kid. He's like, help, help. They're killing us all. Me first. Bang. No, I would probably fucking plug the kid. I would be terrified. I was like, what if you're the fucking killer?
Right? And it's okay. It's also like the middle of the night right now. Like it's dead outside. no good can come of this. Something bad is happening, and you give this kid a loaded gun. He could have been yanking your chain for all you know, and he just turns it right back on you. So stupid.
It is. The dad,
in the best possible way,
goes out to check up on Barb, who's underneath the car, and Corey's just standing there. He's got the Michael Myers mask in his hand, and the dad's like, Corey? And he stands up. I don't know if he was intentionally trying to block the bullet, but he stands up in front of Corey, and Archie ends up shooting him right in the head.
Like right between the eyes, bullseye.
Do you think Corey would have killed the dad?
That's a good question.
He's the only person to be nice to him. But then again, Dr. Loomis was nice to Michael Myers, and he did try to kill him.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that Corey is totally gone at this point yet. I think he intentionally showed him his face because he took the mask off.
Yep.
To show the dad the face. Like I think he's like, it's almost like almost like a goodbye moment. Maybe I don't think he would have killed him though.
Yeah, it would have been
hunch.
Interesting for sure. Archie is looking at Barb underneath a truck, and Barb is like, "You're gonna die." And Corey pins him to the ground and takes out a blowtorch, and blowtorches his mouth.
Yeah, I mean, probably the most. I mean, so I think the most brutal kill in the last movie was that fluorescent bulb to the neck. This one is by far the most brutal, I think.
I wish they pulled back a little so we could see it more.
Yeah, because that's right. Yeah, because it's like it's shot where it's like it's in out of focus in the foreground where we're really just focusing on Barb's reaction to this horrific thing that she's seeing.
Yeah,
it's really well done. Really,
it is. Corey does a head stomp on Barb, which is classic Michael Myers. I think he's done it in
the birthday cake.
Yeah, he does it to everyone, and then he also runs over her with the truck. And that is the end of the Riverdale gang, and unfortunately the dad, who I thought was two different people when I first saw this movie.
Well, because like you did you think it was this guy who got killed and the guy at home? Like those were the two.
It was kind of confusing because like after he killed the as I called him, the boss character, because he goes home next. And he ends up killing the mom. And I was like, so what happened to the dad? And that's when you're like, oh, they're the same person. I was like, I just thought he had like two fat people in his life
two fat
that were likable.
Guys.
But yeah, Corey comes home and we get a great POV shot, just like the first original Halloween movie. He gets the knife out of the drawer and he comes up to the mom who's watching like a cooking show and he kills her. It's a great scene because she kind of sees it coming, just like Michael Myers' sister in the original one.
Right. Yeah, that's a good parallel. How cool would it have been if they did the same like POV through like the mask eyes?
And the mom's like naked.
And she's brushing her hair with her top off.
Yeah.
Oh dear, welcome home. You got some chocolate milk for you.
Exactly.
What are you doing? Ah!
Corey Cunningham has the power of like teleportation because he goes from his mom's house to the radio station in like a second. But he shows up in the tow truck that he's been driving. But again, it's just kind of funny how time delineation, it really means nothing in these movies.
Yeah, no, it's a slasher privilege. You can teleport around to wherever you need to be to kill someone.
Exactly. Michael is walking into the radio station and we can see him, through the background while the DJ's doing his thing, which again, like maybe I just haven't been around a radio station, but do you think like you could just see the DJ out from the corner of the street? That seems kind of dangerous.
In like a small town radio station, I guess I could buy it. Like just it's a small operation. Maybe.
But like Howard Stern, you're not going to be walking around New York City and looking in a window and be like, "Hey, that's Howard Stern," talking.
No, yeah, like a higher profile radio host, they would have some like physical barriers between the disc jockey and the outside world for sure.
Yeah,
this guy is small. He's in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. He's probably fine.
Oh, we go into the radio station and we're met with Darcy, the mail girl. from
Darcy
Joe
the Mail Girl,
Bob.
everybody. Woo,
Um,
Darcy. What a fun, unexpected cameo from Darcy.
Exactly. I was so pumped to kind of weird to see her get killed in a horror movie. But we don't see it. We just hear her screams.
Yeah, I think we see like it's another like out of focus kill because I think we get a shot of the disc jockey up front in focus, and then like you see some kerfuffle in the background with her like flailing around. You see little snippets of it, but you don't see the actual kill.
Yeah. They do a
Poor
really
Darcy.
great thing of like the DJ, he's doing his thing, and we can see the reflection of Michael Myers in the window, which prompts the DJ to turn around, and then the attack happens, and it's brutal. It's probably one of the more brutal.
Yeah, second place to the welding, the blowtorch one for sure.
He's getting his head just pounded into the DJ booth. It dislocates his mouth, his tongue hangs out, and then Corey cuts it off, and it goes onto the turntable where the record is, and it's making the record skip.
Yeah, it's like as the record's going around, the needle bump the tongue and like skip the track a little bit, and then the I don't know if I didn't notice this the first time, but the transition to Allison right after, like she's listening to the radio station and she's hearing like the sound skip on the radio, and she turns the car radio off. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool.
That is. She's at the meeting point where her and Corey originally talked about. But Corey's not there because Corey has some unfinished business to do. And we cut to Lori in her house. She's very distraught. And she calls the cops and she's like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. And she takes out a 6-shooter. And there was a slight moment where I was like, holy shit, is this happening?
Is she
Is
actually
like
going to do it? Yeah.
Lori's life just devolving around her to the where the only thing that can kill Laurie Strode is Laurie Strode.
The only thing that can kill a ninja is a ninja.
Oh God. Nice callback.
Woo.
But it's all a ploy because Laurie knows that Michael Myers is in the house, and she ends up attacking him. She's like, trick or treat, motherfucker. Actually, that was Buster Rhymes. I forget what she says here.
She says, did you really think I'd kill myself? Bam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she says, trick or treat,
Badass.
motherfucker. And she shoots Corey twice. And as she quickly realizes, like, holy shit, this isn't Michael. This is Corey. And
Yep.
they kind of talk with each other. And Laurie's like, I'm not going to have, like, really any compassion for you. She's setting up the scene for a larger attack. She, like, shoots the wall. She empties out the gun. It's just a 6-shooter. And Corey realizes she's won, right? Like there's no getting out of this. He's been shot. He had all of a sudden now he has no Michael Myers powers. And I kind of wonder, like, when does that happen, right? He obviously had the powers of Michael to kill all those people in a very Michael-esque way, but now he doesn't after he's been shot. And it kind of evokes Halloween 6, the Thorn. Do you remember this from the Halloween series?
I don't know. You know those later Halloween sequels way better than I do.
It's fucking brutal.
Dive us into the well.
Grab onto your seat. So after number 5 ends with a man in black kind of talking to I think it was I can't think of Jamie's character, where essentially he's just like, it's very ominous. He's like, we'll be back. And then Halloween 6, we start off with like this cult of Thorn. And this is how Michael Myers gets his powers. It's actually through a cult it's all tied to Halloween and Sam Hain. And they acknowledge that Michael Myers' main motivation is for killing people in his family lineage. And that's what powers him to do his thing. It's like this weird cult that revolves all around making sure that the Strode families are miserable. But the power is also somehow transferable, because at the end of Halloween 6, when Michael Myers is killed, the power of the thorn is transferred to Dr. Loomis, in which a thorn rune appears on his hand. It disappears from Michael Myers' hand. He has like this thorn rune on it, and it appears onto Dr. Loomis's hand. So now he has the power of the thorn.
Is it the same left hand that that Corey injured early in the movie?
I believe so. It's on the left hand because the left hand is the evil hand, right? So
it is.
it's this whole like, again, this movie evokes very thorn-like qualities to Michael Myers, but it doesn't really explain how the transference or when the powers like activate, because essentially it's like almost immediate in Halloween. But yeah, so there's a crash course in the Circle of Thorn. Obviously, Corey doesn't have that power because as he hears Allison's fucked up car pulling up,
ka-tink, 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 with the busted muffler, yep.
He goes, "You're not going to win," and he stabs himself in the throat, which is straight up fucking baller, but it also ruins an entire character in Halloween.
This is the one spot that I had a feeling that you and I would disagree with on, because you mentioned that you really wanted to see him genuinely become another Michael.
Yes.
So this makes sense, and it's like it feels like a wasted opportunity for you. I don't know how. I think I don't totally disagree with you. I like the character, but I think that's just me as an audience member, like lamenting him being gone. But I feel like it's almost like him stabbing himself is almost a little tiny bit of a redemption. Maybe not a redemption, but definitely like it's almost like a slight change back into a not evil dude, if that makes any sense.
I think it redeems him in that he's not going to kill Laurie, but it is 100% a fuck you spit in the eye of Laurie, because he's like, if I can't have her, you're not going to have her because I'm going to destroy your relationship.
Right. It's definitely not a redemption, and he's like suddenly a good guy and he's saving the day. I think it's more like he just takes a different turn that was also slightly less evil, maybe. I don't know, hard to put my finger on, but it's definitely a transformative moment for him.
Exactly. Unfortunately, not a transformative moment into Michael. And also, again, I think personally, this ending that we're about to get has been imposed on David Gordon Green.
You think?
I don't think that this is the ending that was written. I just can't believe it, because now we're at the last 20 minutes of the movie, which Michael Myers has only been in this movie for like 4 minutes, maybe total. And this definitely feels, and I think we say it when we watch these canon films, it's an oh shit moment. Michael Myers has to show up and we've got to fucking kill him, right? Because this is Halloween Ends.
Right.
And that's exactly what happens. Laurie, after Allison leaves the house, distraught that Corey is dead, Laurie looks to the left and sees the door is open. Oh shit, Michael Myers is in the house, and we see him grab the mask and he puts it on.
But there's that interesting exchange when he grabs the mask, because he's like he grabs it from the floor, and then what's his name like tries to like stop him a little bit.
Corey,
yeah, and then he
what's his name? We've been saying Corey for like
I know. I'm a Bert.
Bort.
Bort. He like Bort tries to grab his foot, is almost trying to stop him or something, but he like they exchange glances again, like they did in the Batcave earlier, and like that's what makes me think like that was a transformative moment for him, because like whatever he had in his eyes that Michael saw before, it's gone now.
The
like
eye of the tiger.
Yeah, the eye of the tiger, those Jaws eyes, the doll's eyes, they're gone. And that's when Michael's like, nope, you lost it. Like you're weak and pitiful again, and cracks his neck, kills him.
I mean, I definitely see that, because Michael Myers had a fucking orgasm shake again doing it.
Oh yeah,
he did. He was like, fuck, this is so hot. We cut to Allison driving out of town. She sees that the radio station's on fire. We're gonna light this town on fire, and she gets a call from Will Patton, who's like, we just got a phone call from Laurie saying that she's gonna kill herself, and that spurs Allison to go back home. And that's where Michael Myers and Laurie are having their final showdown. There's a
Having
couple.
their fantastic love scene.
Exactly. They're just banging each other. There's
Get the zucchini.
they're like zucchini. Look at this, Michael. I'm gonna stick this where the sun don't shine. There's like a really good callback to earlier in the film. Michael Myers gets distracted by something exploding in the microwave, which is something that happened earlier in the movie. And that prompts Laurie to attack him. And I think the final fight is certainly elevated. I can't believe that either of these geriatric people are doing what they're doing, but that doesn't necessarily mean I don't enjoy what I'm watching, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we get the nice callback to the knitting needle.
Yep.
Which Laurie actually gets in her neck this time. You can definitely tell that he's still kind of frail.
Yeah.
Because Laurie's able to overpower him in some cases. Oh my gosh, and the garbage disposal thing.
Yes, that's very tension building right there.
Super tense.
I think if they stuck more to that, the final confrontation might have been a little bit better if there weren't so many like haymakers and flips over the back. And I don't mean flip over the back like in a Matrix style, but just like essentially just like flipping people over your back, right? There's just there's too much going on.
Too much like a wrestling match, I guess.
Exactly, because Laurie gets her head at one time bashed into a refrigerator. I'm sorry, but she's done.
Yeah.
That would knock one of us out, let alone a 70-year-old woman.
Yeah.
But I get
Grandma.
it. She's Laurie Strode. She's the final girl, right?
For sure.
But again, like it's a fun scene to get, and I think the ultimate conclusion of how Laurie pins Michael down, which is she stabs his hand on a cutting board, which allows her to stab his other hand on the cutting board, essentially pinning him.
Right.
I 100% buy that happening, right? And she even pushes the refrigerator on top of him to help pin him down. I get it. I am 100% on board for that part of the movie.
I sense a butt coming.
But it's this weirdness of, we have in the past two movies he's been burned, stabbed, shot, burned, stabbed, right?
Old Huckleberried.
Fisted.
Zucchini'd.
Why is it all of a sudden now all of this matters? Like all of this culmination of Laurie finally has him pinned, finally has him down, right? She slits his wrists. How does
his throat? Yeah.
How does that kill him?
I don't know. I think
Exactly.
the physicality of Michael Myers and his mortality have always been, I feel like, kind of a sticky wicket that I'm dancing around it because I feel like there's probably no good way to do it that wouldn't also feel the way that you're describing, where it's like, how did he survive all the other shit, but like now they really got him.
And
you know
I
what
think
mean?
I would have been fine if they skipped this whole, like, let's kind of like slit his wrist, stab him in the heart, slit his throat. If they just went, let's tie him up and then we'll cut to the junkyard part, right?
Right.
Like, we understand that doing all of this does nothing, because even in Halloween Kills, they were like, Michael Myers isn't a man. He's just pure evil, and you can't really get rid of pure evil.
Right. Nodding to the potential supernatural aspects of him, which I think, like, even at this point, we still haven't really, like, totally dropped, especially with this weird, like, power transference with him and Corey, whether it was in their heads or not. There's still sort of a little potential twinkle of maybe something supernatural is happening.
Exactly, because even she at one point goes, you're just a man and I can stop you from breathing, slits his throat, and then they lock eyes, and there seems to be a transference of power going on, where she's even like, do it. She understands what's happening, and then we get the flashbacks of like all the violence that Laurie had to go through in order to survive, and it's that transference of power, but then Allison stops it. And she's like, no, we're not doing this. let's just fucking kill him. And it's just kind of
like, oh, he's dead, and he's like, not dead enough.
Exactly.
Great line.
I think I said something to you where I was like, all of this could be stopped and we could let Michael Myers live if we just cut off all of his fingers. Did I say that to you, or did I say that to Jackie?
You must have said that to Jackie. That's pretty good.
I was like, he can't hold a weapon. Let's just cut off all of his fingers.
I mean, why stop there? Just like turn him into like Torso Boy.
Exactly, Torso Boy. Albuquerque.
He's got a really great nickname now, Torso Boy.
But there's also a couple really weird moments where like Laurie's holding Michael's hand while they're like slitting his wrists and his throat, and there's almost like this kind of like loving or acknowledgement of everything that they've been through with each other. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis has love for the character. Laurie doesn't have love for the character, though.
I'm glad you picked up on that, because like there's something going on there. I couldn't put my finger on either. It's like, I feel like we've seen in some other movies or other media where like there's this weird like long time rivals, like good guy, bad guy. Like they almost have like a friendship, a weird bond that like transcends their sort of like protagonist antagonist relationship. That I think that might be what's going on here. Like, she's spent so long living with him, like it's almost bittersweet to say goodbye in a weird way.
You killed my daughter. This sucks that we're saying goodbye.
Bye.
It works in Top Gun when Iceman and Maverick have mutual respect for each other. It doesn't work at the end of a movie where a maniac is dying.
Yeah, mutual respect might not be the right way to describe it. Something's going on there. Something.
It's convoluted.
Hangs onto his hand a little too long. There's something more there.
Exactly. Will Patton finally shows back up at the hour and 40-minute mark, and they come to the realization that she beat Michael Myers. And they all acknowledge that he's not dead yet. He needs to die some more.
Die harder.
So all of a sudden, Cowboy Sheriff shows up, and he's like, we're going to kill him tonight. They tie Michael Myers to the top of a cop car, and it's a funeral procession of sorts where they're driving him through the streets of Haddonfield. And I like this. I am all for these like really cheesy moments, right?
Yeah, you're right. There's definitely a cheeseball factor to it, but it feels like satisfying because you realize it's like a funeral procession for the character in a way too. Exactly.
We are all saying goodbye to Michael Myers. We are Michael Myers.
Stab.
Exactly. And they show up at the junkyard where I guess they moved all the dead bodies.
All those dead kids.
Yeah. And so they have Michael Myers. They take him off the cop car, and we're kind of flashed to a couple other characters. There's the kid from the first Halloween film. He's there. The lady with the fluorescent tube. She's there. They're all waiting to see Michael Myers die, and they get to like the car crusher thing, like where they put all the cars to get destroyed. And we see Jamie Lee Curtis standing in there. And I remember going, holy shit, she's going to fucking crush herself too.
You're not wrong. Like the way that it's framed, it looks like she's standing like, cause it's almost like, think of like a meat grinder where it's like, everyone's on the ground and then she's like standing up above everyone, and it for a split second like you think she's standing in the thing, so that when Allison flips the switch you're like, oh my god, oh shit, she's in there.
Because she even says in like Halloween Kills, maybe the only way to kill Michael Myers is if I die too.
Right.
So I was like, holy shit, she's going out like a fucking straight baller. But no, they crush Michael Myers. But it's one of those things where, and my dad hates these kind of movies, but it's one of those things where my dad was always like, why don't they just crush him? Like in the first Terminator film, they just crush it, right?
Right.
Like,
so there's nothing left to come after you.
Jason Voorhees, why don't they just blow him up? Well, they did that too, right? And Halloween or Jason Goes to Hell. So this is that version of it where their solution is to shred him up.
Yeah, like there's no possible way you could come after us. Like it's satisfying because this is like you said, like your dad's thought that it's what the audience always thinks when like why would you like they like stab the bad guy and then walk away, like it feels stupid. Like your instinct is to like just get rid of him, just like burn him to cinders or something. It's very final.
This is 100% them going, at least for this character, Laurie Strode will never fight Michael Myers again. Now, again, like now we're going to wrap up the end where it's Laurie's writing her book and there's closure. She seemingly goes off with Will Patton to go to Japan. Allison drives away from Haddonfield, finally free from the bonds and shackles of her past. Mm-hmm. We get a really great John Carpenter homage where we see scenes from Halloween Ends where it's like, it's quiet.
Right.
There's just the music. There's no heavy breathing, which is in the first one, that was like the Michael Myers is still alive. He's still out there haunting, right? But this is like birds are chirping. Everything is happy. I will say, though, we didn't see Corey's body die, right? Like, we saw him die, but we didn't see the end of Corey's body.
That's true. We didn't get like a little like post credits. We didn't get a funeral scene or anything.
If we were clickbait YouTubers, this is our, we would be like shrugging or like shocked, right? We don't see his body, and at the end of the movie, Don't Fear the Reaper by the Blue Oyster Cult is playing, and Michael Myers' mask is sitting in Laurie's house.
Yep, sitting there on the coffee table, with a nice beam of sunlight coming in.
Halloween Ends.
So,
I was ready for a after credit teaser. Nothing happens. The Halloween fades away. Ends still sticks around for a couple seconds. Yeah.
What did you think of the? Before we kind of get off the ending entirely here, what did you think of the "Don't Fear the Reaper" song over the credits?
Tone deaf.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't a fan of it either. I feel like the silence of it would have been good to stick with, but it feels 2005-y to me, like ending, like jumping to credits over a popular song. Yep. I don't know. It should have been silent, complete silence, like the birds chirping, to be more hopeful, to be more, there is nothing coming about in the future. Right. And then if you need some music to cut to some John Carpenter stuff, don't jump to some random band.
Exactly. It's
random
just John.
band.
It's just John Carpenter talking, and he's like, "I'm so sorry. Back in the 70s when I made this fucking movie, I didn't really think that there's gonna be 1,000 sequels."
Oh my god! At least I'm getting a paycheck.
He's like, I just want to sit at home and play video games all day, sell my laser discs online.
My laser. That would be the after credit scene. It's just like at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he's like, "Go, okay, show's over, go home." It's like John Carpenter in his bathrobe. Like, he's like, all right, give me my paycheck, get the fuck out.
He's counting stacks.
He's stacks like money and gold in the background.
Like, when's the next one of these fucking things coming out?
Hey, Cody, get away from my synthesizers.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, I think talking about it again, I think it's still a really good movie that's getting
it's getting shit on.
I think there's a lot going for it. There are obviously some faults with it. I think the whole ending is kind of convoluted. I wish they didn't kill Corey. I don't really think that we needed Michael Myers to show back up after he got demasked. His story should have ended there. I think at one point when we were even talking about it, I was like, how cool would it be if Michael Myers ended up saving Laurie from Corey, right? Like, Michael Myers, the person, comes back and he realizes after the evil has transferred from him, like, oh shit.
Something kind of flips, something snaps, and he's like, oh wow, I'm back.
Because I'm ready for something different, and I got something different until it got too different, and then they went right back to what they did.
Yeah.
Right?
That would have been shark jumpy, but it would have been a very interesting, bold twist, that's for sure.
Exactly. And that's what I'm all about. I want those bold twists.
All
Because
about
we
bold
have
twists.
13 other Halloween films in which, well, I guess 12 other Halloween films where they play it by the formula. Give me
Yeah.
something different. Because if you look at the ones that are the best, they're the ones that do kind of flip the formula a little bit. Like, obviously, the first one is original, right? The third Halloween, no Michael Myers. It's amazing. The fourth one goes back to the well, but kind of twists a little bit.
That's the one with the little girl, right?
Yeah, Jamie.
Right.
And then 5 and 6 are kind of forgettable. Halloween H2O, we see a different survivor, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. I think it's a pretty good movie. Definitely, like, that was their version of Halloween Ends. It's good. I mean, it's an early 2000s horror movie, so it is what it is. Resurrection sucks. The Rob Zombie movies are a travesty. And then Halloween 2018 is like a good Lego sequel, right?
Right.
But I think like if they leaned more into it being different, it would have been better in the end.
I think they're probably faced with a choice, because I think the choice there was, do they make this movie a true satisfying end to this trilogy, or do they try to do something bold? Because I feel like if they tried to go too bonkers with it, it would have undercut it being like a conclusion. Because it would be like introducing too much new stuff. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
Yeah.
they probably had to make that choice, which is both satisfying and unsatisfying at the same time for those two different reasons. 'Cause
Exactly.
Like us, like we're like longtime fans. You definitely more so than me, even. But like people like us want to see that kind of crazy boldness. But on the other hand, like narratively speaking, that I can see why they went with what they did.
Knowing that I think that there is a version of the script in which some of my ideas are true. I will believe that. But them knowing that they probably couldn't go ham, as the kids say, they should have stuck to the conservative Halloween story. It gave us the ultimate ending, right?
The Corey becomes the new Michael kind of thing.
Yeah. Or just went, Corey doesn't exist. It's truly Laurie versus Michael Myers. And maybe even they could have flipped it a little bit to where Laurie's going out hunting Michael Myers, right? Like, she knows, like, it's Halloween, it's Haddonfield, he's fucking here, like, we're going hunting. And kind of changed it to where Michael is the prey and Laurie's the hunter.
Which that would almost be like what they did with what's her name in the new Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Where like she just
Linda
like
Hamilton.
She's the Terminator basically.
Exactly.
That'd be an interesting arc. Because we kind of got a little bit of that Laurie in Halloween 2018, where she's like full like survival prepper mode, ready for action.
And I think, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask and see, like, overall, like, why do you think this is so polarizing? Like, why didn't people like this one as much?
Because Michael Myers isn't in it.
So you're right. It's true. Like the Halloween 3.
Yeah,
reaction.
it's because people want to see Man in the White Mask stab people, right? And I think they weren't ready for the Luke Skywalker-esque turn of events, Last Jedi treatment of Jamie Lee Curtis's character, where we see her down and broken in Halloween and Halloween Kills, and then I think I even had a problem with it, and I kind of still do. After her daughter is killed in Halloween Kills, she's more normal now than ever. Her arc is told in reverse, to where she should have been the hopeful, we can get over everything together grandma in the first one. Michael Myers comes back. Oh shit. Her daughter dies. She goes fucking crazy. And she turns into Warrior Grandma.
Warrior Grandma.
That sounds like a horrible WWE wrestler.
Warrior Grandma. It's just like a Mrs. Doubtfire thing.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's just I definitely get what they were going for in Halloween 2018, and it made sense at that moment for her to be like that. But seeing where her character went in Halloween Ends, it's in reverse.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think it works as the third act to the whole trilogy, but yeah, probably not like less so as the standalone movie. Which yeah, I mean, I think that's why it worked better for me on a second viewing because I watched all three of the movies right together and I could see more clearly that arc that they're going for, even whether or not it was like the quote unquote the right or the best way to do it. Like I could see what they were going for and it made me appreciate it more. But I think
definitely.
that's probably like I said before, it's got to be a part of the reason why it kind of disappointed fans too because it didn't. I feel like maybe it didn't work as well on its own, which kind of led us because we were chit-chatting after the movie the first time we watched it and we're thinking like, man, this would make a really interesting interesting challenge to like do a fan edit of Kills and Halloween Ends as like a single movie, or heck, even like a supercut of all three into one giant work.
There's the super cheap way of getting the two into one, in which when Michael Myers is getting the shit kicked out of him, right, and then he kind of retaliates, you essentially lop off the daughter being killed, and you just cut to the funeral procession of like, we beat him, right? Like, I guess before he retaliates, they got him down, they're beating him, and then it just cuts to him on top of a roof and they crushionate him, right?
Oh, so that like I see what you're saying. Like that's the really slice and dice option where you basically take out most of Ends. You take out the whole core arc.
But then there's the other one where there's a point in Halloween Kills where Laurie's like, I'm ready to go back into action, right? And that's when you can start probably editing in some of the stuff from Ends into that moment and truncating Ends and then cutting a lot of the stuff out of Kills, right?
Yeah.
That you may just not need. And honestly, they don't talk about the daughter's death too much in Ends, so it's not like you really have to tiptoe around that. You can always just insert scenes later on to kind of show that she's still alive. I don't know.
Right.
There definitely is a way to combine the two together.
Yeah, it would be yeah. I have to spend some more time thinking about that because yeah, like you said, there's definitely ways you could do it. Whether or not it would work, like whether or not it would like totally destroy the whole narrative structure of the all three movies, that would be the tricky part. I think is trying to keep enough of both movies intact. But I bet there's a way to do it because like especially between I didn't think about this until this morning, but like even Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, like it's the same night. That would be a really easy thing to just like shove together.
Oh,
it had
yeah.
to be the same night and like
Cut out some of the filler and just pad it in.
Yeah, like a 3 hour. It'd be a long movie, and that's why even if you got at Halloween's End, like that's like extended edition Return of the King territory in terms of length, like a 4.5 hour epic. But I bet you could do that in a way that would make it make sense. That'd be a fun
sure.
editing challenge.
For sure. So when's Jason gonna get one of these?
Oh, like a well done, lovingly crafted like a sequel trilogy. You mean?
Yeah, and it's gonna have to be Tommy, who comes back. Tommy Jarvis is gonna be the character.
The Laurie Strode.
Because he's probably in the most sequels as a character.
That's a good point. I mean, so we know. I feel like every major horror franchise is sort of like, I don't know, maybe ripe is the wrong word because that kind of makes it sound like we need to do it or we ought to do it. But like you have to think that all these like studios who own these properties, they're sniffing around to see if they can do the same thing. Because I mean, we're getting this. David Gordon Green is doing an Exorcist trilogy after this,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Exorcist TV show?
I didn't. I relearned of its existence while we watched Exorcist last night. And I was doing some Googling. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Is it any good? Have you seen it?
That first season's 100% worth watching.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought that'd be kind of like a stinker, I've got this weird feeling like they would try to turn into some like weird teen drama.
No, I gotta tell you, even the second season, I don't know why we stopped watching it, but both of the seasons are really well reviewed. You should Watch the first season without reading anything about it.
Interesting. Okay. You convinced me. I'll go check that out. But I mean, that's interesting you say that too, because now I almost have high hopes for this new trilogy, because while this Halloween trilogy was polarizing, it was very like well crafted and done with, like they didn't cheap out on a lot or on anything. Like they had a very clear vision for what they wanted to do and they didn't cut any corners. I look forward to seeing what they do with The Exorcist as a property.
Same here. Mainly because we've seen what happens when they try to sequelize the Exorcist story with the same characters, and it does not work. The Exorcist 2 does not work in any way, shape, or form.
No, I mean, I think you and I both like The Exorcist 3.
Oh, yeah. Exorcist 3 is a banger.
That's kind of an anomaly, I feel like.
But the other two Exorcist films are fucking even worse than Exorcist 2.
What was the fourth one? Was a prequel, right? Like The Beginning or something like that?
Exorcist Dominion?
Dominion? Because there's like two radically different cuts of that, isn't there? There's like a whole drama behind that, right?
Oh, man, yeah. One is Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist, as if you couldn't get it any more on the fucking nose. That's the one that I believe went to the theater. No. I'm sorry. Exorcist the Beginning is the one that went to the theater. That one is directed by, in quotes, Rennie Harlan. So that movie comes out and it's a piece of shit. And everyone's like, well, we heard that you kind of just took this movie that Paul Schrader made and twisted it around and filmed new scenes and stuff like that. And Paul Schrader, he co-wrote Raging Bull, Last Temptation of Christ. Like he's known to make really good films. Credits. So they're like, we want to see the Schrader film. Like we want to see that one. So eventually, this was like the first release, the Snyder Cut film that I can think of. Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, comes out because hell, it's almost done. Give them a couple more $1 million and finish it, right? It's even worse than the one that went out to the movie theater.
Oh no.
It's even worse. It is so fucking bad. And that tells the story of Lancaster Marin, the exorcist from the original one.
Like his first exorcist, the one that they kind of allude to in the movie.
Yeah, and it's fucking horrible. It's so janky. It's like set in Lawrence of Arabia times, Tunisia, there's British people. It's so fucking overly complicated.
So I feel like that's why the Lega sequel kind of seems to work, where you're basically making the same movie. Like, let's not try to shove a sequel in where it's weird. Let's basically just make the same movie again, but have enough narrative ties to the original where like we can call it a sequel, but structurally it's the same movie. Because they're like
it's the Death Star but bigger.
Yeah, exactly. It's the blank but blankier. So
exactly.
I guess that makes sense. I'm cautiously optimistic that if we're going to get a trilogy of The Exorcist, the first one will be basically a soft reboot of the first one, and then we'll get some okay sequels after that. That's what
Ellen
hoping.
Burstyn is in the new one.
That's right. Yeah, she is.
89-year-old Ellen Burstyn is somehow going to be the first in a set of fucking 3 movies of The Exorcist. I mean, I don't want to sound morbid, but she better fucking die or get written out of the first movie.
I was gonna say she's gonna take her paycheck and she's gonna Harrison Ford her way out of that bitch in the first movie, just like in Force Awakens. She'll find a way to die somehow, or she'll pass on something. I
don't see how they can carry the trilogy on the back of an 89-year-old woman, and that's not to disparage women. It's the fact that she's fucking 89 years old, and they're making 3 films. That's 6 years at least to make the movies, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I like you said, I hope they pass the torch, because I mean, Laurie Strode was very much still a part of all 3 of these movies, but Allison had enough to do in all of them where she felt like she's really more of a, if not the main character, like a co-main character. where
Yeah.
she could carry a lot of it herself, or a good portion of it, where it wasn't all just like the Laurie Strode show.
The
So hopefully
Laurie
they do something.
Strode show. Yeah.
Da-da-da. But yeah, that's how Halloween ends. Like I said, I think it's worth go watch it again. If you watch it once and you were kind of meh on it, or even if you hated it, go watch all three of the movies. I think / hope you'll look on it more fondly, because I think like they work really well as a trio, showing the kind of those different stages of grief that they all kind of represent, and I think it's it's a much more satisfying conclusion that way.
Exactly. 100%. I'll give the movie a 3, a solid 3. It'll definitely go up the more I watch it.
Yeah, I think for me it's like a 3.5, maybe even a 4. Probably more in the 3.5 territory. I was definitely not as lukewarm on it as probably a lot of people were. Definitely didn't hate it. So
you know what the next trilogy of Halloween movies is going to be, and if they're smart, they're going to fucking do it. And mark my words, if you're smart, you're going to do this.
Steal this idea.
Jamie Lloyd, the character from Halloween 4, everyone hates what happened to her in Halloween 5. And everyone hates what happened to her in Halloween 6. It's time to get Danielle Harris back. She's 45 years old. Prime pickings for her trilogy of Halloween movies to come out.
Interesting. Plucking more characters from the lore. Maybe they dip more into that. What was it? The Circle of the Thorn, whatever that cult was. Dip more back into that.
Yeah, exactly. It's prime time to get that shit going.
I mean, that's a pretty hammy thing to happen. Like maybe my Halloween 3 tie-in will happen there instead.
Yeah, and I mean it's so fucking easy to do. You just essentially do what you just did again for that intro movie, and then you make your other two.
Wham,
and
bam.
you know not to do what they did because people apparently hated kills and ends. So you just change it a little bit more.
And by change it, I mean just give us the same movie 3 times.
Exactly.
Once a year. And collect your paycheck and be done with it.
And get the fuck out of here.
Show me people getting stabbed all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see them doing something like that. I hope they do. We don't need Halloween 1, the fucking remake again, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Michael Myers will be back. It's only a matter of time.
You know what I would like is, I mean, you and I both love slashers. We love the genre, and we love going back and revisiting all these old classics. I would love to see, I think the closest we got to this was Hatchet from a couple years ago, but like a new, fresh slasher genre or trilogy or franchise, something. Like, give us another classic horror franchise that we could latch onto.
Yeah.
I know we like beating a dead horse at this point, like ripping on like sequels and reviving old properties and IP, but I love the genre and I love the tropes as cheesy as they are. But give me a new one. It can honestly just be the same thing. Just give me a different coat of paint on it.
Exactly. I think it's really hard to do because fans are the worst. No one hates and loves the thing that they love and hate the most than the fans, right? So anytime that someone comes out and they're like, hey, look at this new thing that I made, they're like, well, this is just fucking Michael Myers, but just different.
Yeah, like, I don't care. Like, let Michael Myers die. Give me Michael Schmyers.
Exactly.
With a different mask. But, like, I obviously would like it if it's a little bit fresher than that. But, like, at least give yourself, like, don't paint yourself into a corner by trying to work into these familiar franchises. I mean, I get from a business standpoint, that's what's going to be the draw for people. Like, no one's going to click on a random slasher movie that they haven't heard of, which is an unfortunate reality we live in. But, I don't know, still, I'd like something new.
Exactly. So the Michael Myers sequel, a couple years, we'll never get anything original. At least no original slasher.
Bum, bum, bum. Well, Phil, it's Halloween time.
It is.
It's the spooky season. What other kind of spooky movies have you guys been watching?
I rewatched Night of the Living Dead or Return of the Living Dead on
Awesome.
4K. Banger.
So happy with that release.
I don't think there's anything super new that I watched. If anything, The Gate from the 80s. Have you ever watched that?
The Gate. Is that the one with what's his name? The vampire from Blade?
No, this one is again. This one is like
The Gate.
Stranger Things in the 80s.
The Gate.
Oh wait, Steven Dorff. Yeah.
Stephen Dorff, yeah.
Have you seen
bad-
that one?
No. I recognize the poster of it though, like that like the hands kind of coming out of the ground around the title.
Yeah, man, such a fun movie. Not scary at all. I don't even think this could have scared people in the 80s, but some of like the claymation stuff that they're doing in this movie, super fun. Just a really fun movie.
Stuff. Stranger Things. So is it like kid centric?
Yeah, it is. Which I know, like now people are probably like, "Oh, I don't want to watch something like that," but it is. It is really good. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, especially if there's some quality practical effects to hold it up. That sounds cool.
I think Joe Dante did a remake of it. Oh no, he did The Hole, which is kind of like The Gate.
The Gate. It's like a thing you go through to get
It's the
from one place to
creatures
another.
come out of a thing, spookiness ensues, right?
A thing gets opened up against someone's will and evil stuff pours out.
Exactly. But no, totally worth watching.
Interesting. Good old Stephen Dorff. Yeah, I'll give that a look. I'm looking at some of the screenshots of those little like claymation dudes. Those look pretty
Yeah.
cool.
They are. It's a banger. What about you? What have you been watching?
Oh, geez. Tons of stuff.
I know.
Rewatching a lot of the classics. Like I said, we rewatched The Exorcist the other day. Me and my wife, we did kind of a theme thing this year where for a given week, one of us would pick a theme for each day and the other person would pick the movie to fit the theme. So it was kind of a surprise for the theme picker. Like, oh, like, well, I wonder what they picked in that theme. So we've been doing a whole bunch of different things in there. One thing that we did recently was a kind of an urban legends one, or like an urban legends slash folklore. So we did a double feature of the original Candyman from '92, classic, and then we also paired that with a newer one that neither of us had seen. I think it's Guatemalan, one of the La Llorona.
La Llorona, yeah.
La Llorona, yeah. Which apparently there were a whole bunch of those movies that came out all around the same time, and like 2 out of the 3 are dog shit. And then this third one actually has a Criterion release. Really, really good.
I've seen the dog shit one. It is dog shit.
Is it? I think one of them, like Linda Cardellini, was in one of them.
That's the one I saw. Total
Yeah,
dog
The
shit.
Curse of or Legend of, something like that. But yeah, this one was really good. It took us a little while to find the right one because they'll all have La Llorona in the title. But yeah, a couple other things. I think the other one worth mentioning, which one is a 4K Blu-ray that I've had for a while, which is The Witch. Looks fantastic. Great eerie mood. I mean, I think lots of good stuff has been said about that. But we did for the first time in a long time, we normally have like an LED array behind our TV where we put up a color to match the movie. For the first time in a while, we actually turned off all the lights in the house and just had a candle
Oh, nice.
on the coffee table, and I think that really works because of like all the natural like flame lit, like candle lit scenes in that movie really set the tone. But
Yeah.
some Halloween, some spooky season classics for sure.
Are you kind of surprised that Halloween Ends is the only like horror movie that came out in the October timeframe
It's
that I'm
like
aware
that,
of?
It's that and Smile, I think, are the only two.
Oh, yeah.
Which I've heard good things about. We'll probably, go catch that. I mean, I'm sure there's like you said, there's no other scary movies around, so they're going to keep that in theaters at least through Halloween. So maybe we'll take our Alamo season pass and go check that out.
You can go see Black Adam. Just kidding. No one wants to see that. There's
Sorry,
probably
DC.
people who do want to see it, but not me.
No, not in Halloween times. That's for sure. I've got my genre that I wait all year for this month. I'm not going to sully
Exactly.
that experience with non-horror related media.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, do you have anything else?
No, I think overall, like I said, don't believe what you hear about Halloween Ends. I think if you have a passing interest in the horror genre, give it a try, and more ideally, give it the whole trilogy a try. I think it's worth watching.
Exactly. We've been busy over the past month. Probably going to be busy for, a few more weeks. Life, work, moving, a whole bunch of shit. We'll try to get more regular as we progress
Get more
forward.
regular.
More regular, but it happens, especially more busy as the year goes on, right? But we are definitely going to get back into the swing of things once things calm down, which hopefully is sooner rather than later.
That's true. If you've been missing some regular episodes, that would be why. So like Phil said, life happens. But yeah, I mean we've got some more stuff popping up on the YouTube channel, so we've still got some back episodes that we can kind of trickle out there. So those all like 2 of our regular fans.
Hey, someone
coming.
actually posted on the YouTube a comment that says that they love our podcast. So
hey, we love you too, man or woman.
yeah, we love you.
We love all
Email
people,
us.
all 10 of our fans.
Hey, dude, science bunnies. Email us at thatscanon@gmail.com. That's right, we have an email, and it's thatscanon@gmail.com. And since you know that we have a YouTube because we just talked about it, which is youtube.com/thatscanon. You can watch all of our amazing back episodes there and some of the funny videos that we put out. Like I said, we're going to get back to being more regular, but, things happen. It's all good.
Email us. Tell us what you want to hear, because we would love to never go back to canon movies ever again after watching a certified banger in our opinions like Halloween Ends.
Exactly. And then we'll have to come up with a Thanksgiving one and a Christmas special episode too.
I got my thoughts.
I got my thoughts. And with that, oh shit, what do we usually say? Yeah, wait.
Email us, please. Leave
Email
a comment,
us.
subscribe.
And remember, since we said it,
That's canon.